We have this clip from CNN. This is massive. Nick Adams says Kevin O'Leary nails it on multiple points. Listen to this. I'm going to set this one up. Kevin O'Leary points out two things. The arsonist, the attacks on Tesla should go to prison, but more importantly, when Tim Walz was cheering for the Tesla stock going down, Minnesota has 1.6 million shares of Tesla in its pension fund. Holy crap. Listen to this.
Point one. When you set a car on fire, you should go to jail. You're a criminal.
Any car,
I don't think we have to talk about it in any other context. And all those cars have cameras in them, and those dealerships have cameras. You're beyond being stupid when you do that. You're going to go to jail, and you now have a government that just got their mandate. They can't wait to find idiots that do this. You're going to spend 5 to 20 years in prison. If they get them on terrorism, which I think is a stretch, they will have no parole, no shortened sentence. They'll rot in hell in prison for 20 years. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, that's okay. Breaking in, shooting a car, setting on fire, nothing to do with the politics, nothing to do with Tesla. You are a criminal, and you should go
what about the broader
to
question
jail.
about the protest factor? I mean, you heard
What
Tim Walz.
protest? You're a criminal.
I'm talking about Tim Walz and his comments about the Tesla stock. He says it gives him a boost to see that stock going down.
That poor guy didn't check his portfolio and his own pension plan for state. It's beyond stupid what he did. He's talking down a 3.5% weighting in his own pension plan. I mean, what's the matter with that guy? He doesn't check the well-being of his own constituents in his state. I mean, that's their investment fund. What a bozo.
The minute
1.6 million in their pension fund as of the end of last June, so July 1st. There's a question. Maybe they sold it all out at its peak and turned a fat profit because it skyrocketed in value. I doubt it. They probably held on to it. Maybe they sold when it dropped down quite a bit. They also hold, I think, a couple $100,000 in a general investment fund of some sort.
Someone should show them how much they have in private equity.
That's absolutely insane. These leftists that are cheering and gloating for this stuff, they really have no idea what they're talking about. And they're celebrating the demise of their own constituents and themselves.
I mean, you talked about it the other night that it's almost suicidal rage that he, it doesn't matter who gets hurt if it's his friends or whatever, just so long as bad things happen to the people I don't like. And that you see that on the left a lot nowadays.
It's really become the snake that's eating itself. Let's just talk about, first of all, my channel's deeply purple. I have people from both sides that watch everything I do. And most of what I talk about is very populist in nature. It's got a lot of appeal to both sides. But when you talk about the fact that the left was the party of health food and vegans and healthy living, and they were the party of we want the electric cars and they've literally forfeited all of that in a matter of months, saying this is not us anymore. What are you? Are you the party of McDonald's and we want more gas? What are you then? What are you? They don't know what they are, and that's really the biggest problem they have. They are adrift with no port. They have no direction. They have no navigator, and that's really the problem.
They are the party of anger and being mad about everything that doesn't go their way.
Yeah, and that's something that we've been talking about on the show here, is the fact that because the left has no leader and they have they've given up the middle class. They've given up the working class. They're the party of the super wealthy and the extremely poor. And they use the extremely poor and the super wealthy against the middle and working class in the United States. And that's why MAGA is so has so many people that are, just middle class and working class people. They're like, look, you guys don't care about us. You're all wrapped up in this identity stuff. You're focusing on the margins. They're focusing on LGBT people, on racial issues and stuff that before the left became ascendant, a lot of these racial issues that people talk about nowadays, most of America had kind of thought that it was they were a thing of the past. We had gotten to a point where in a good portion of America was like, you know what, maybe we don't have a problem with racism anymore. Maybe there's a small part of America that has a problem with it, but most of us don't. That was the feeling that most people had when Barack Obama was elected. And the left has totally abandoned all of the middle class, all the working class, all the people that they were supposed to champion in favor of racial grievance over sexuality, men versus women. They've totally destroyed the Democrat Party as it used to be, and so now they have no idea who they are.
I had somebody say something to me just a few days ago, actually, on this exact line of thinking. They were the party of tech. They were the party of the unions. They were the party of the middle class. And at this point, they are a party. And this is the way they described it to me. They said that the left has become a party of infinite revolution.
Yes.
They're constantly chasing a revolution because they don't have any direction to serve where they are.
The message is not the message.
And that's what I was. And I thought about that, and I'm like, yeah. Now, I very much, like, my entire channel is about saying we're not left versus right. We should be up versus down, that we have an up versus down problem in this country.
Yeah.
And that we have corporate capture of both sides of our government. The Republicans have managed to capture a significant and increasingly large section of the working class to keep it. They're going to have to change a lot of what they do, too. A lot of that populist stuff has changed.
But to be fair,
But they have direction.
Donald Trump is that change. Yeah. Because before Donald Trump, you had your Mitt Romneys, private equity firms. Right. You had your John McCain's. You had your sensible Republicans, people like Bill Kristol, who's now not a Republican, but he was a Republican. He was one of the people that was all for the Iraq War. Those were the people that were hated as Republicans. And then when Donald Trump came in, he totally reshaped what the party was. And the left hate him because he actually took the people that were Bernie fans and he took them into the MAGA party. There were people that liked Bernie, and because Bernie has no spine at all, because he was too weak to be a leader, they moved to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has the populist center right, honestly, but the working class. That's who he is.
Talk about this.
Bernie has no spine because he's some kind of scarecrow, and he's like, it's a wooden post.
Yeah.
And did Trump get like 9 million of the Obama voters?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But in 2016,
yes,
Bernie I personally was affiliated with a lot of Bernie supporters, the ones that marched all the way to the convention to cast those electoral votes for him. And I will tell you that the never Hillarys crossed from Bernie to Trump and delivered Trump that year.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
They did. And I talk about this all the time. Do you guys know that Bernie is like 6'3"?
No.
What?
Bernie Sanders?
Yes, he is. Look it up.
What?
He's huge.
I've met him before.
He's super tall. He's like over 6 feet tall. I always picture him as like 5'4", but he's not. He's super tall.
6 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him
Anyone
before. He's
picture
not
him that
6.
way? Like when you think of mittens?
6'3", yeah.
He's like really, well, I'm short, so, but like,
Yeah.
I always pictured him as like my size
I gotcha.
in the mittens. I did not
He does
know he was
look
tall.
like he
does,
looks
right?
like
He
his
doesn't look
shoulders.
tall.
He looks like his shoulders start where his
He's so
ears
big.
are.
I seen an article not too long ago talking good about him.
He's a flat 6, and then he's a little hunched over. Because when I met him, he's like the same height as me.
Are you 6 feet tall? I don't know.
I'm 5'10".
I am very small. I am not.
I'm 5'11" and a half.
I was like, huh. Then I met Ian Carroll, who's like, 6'8", and I was like,
Yeah.
huh.
Wait, he's
6'53".
6'8"?
6'7" or 6'8". My brother's 6'7". He's about the same height.
All right.
When Ian Carroll came in, he was his
He was
Yeah.
hitting his head on the lights.
And his pants are always too short because I don't make them long enough.
he was adjusting the cables for us on the studio lights.
Oh, I appreciate it, Ian.
I was on Sean Mike Kelly's podcast last week, and I brought Ian. He filmed one right after me, and I took a picture with both of them because Sean Kelly, he's
12 feet tall.
6'5" or 6'6", and Ian is 6'7".
Oh, Sean, the guy on the
that's
show
how
a
he's
couple weeks ago
6'7",
who was
huh?
ginormous?
He's 6'7" or 6'8".
Okay.
He's never been on the show.
He's really tall.
That's huge.
12 feet tall.
Because there's a guy like 6. His name was like literally 7'3" something.
Oh, you mean 6'7" Kevin?
Oh yeah, 6'7" Kevin. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that guy was adjusting our lights for us. I mean, it's a standard ceiling, but when you're up there, it's like we could use the help.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I gotta get a stool. Yeah, but it is funny when people don't know this, that Charlie Kirk and Vosh are both like 6'5".
What?
Yes.
Vosh
No
is 6'5",
way.
Really?
Yes. Uh-huh.
It's so
you ever
weird
see
when
the
you
photo
see
of
someone on
Boston?
TV and you just
Right.
assume.
And so
they're
there's a
normal.
picture of me with
Yeah,
them,
you-
and I'm 5'10", and they're both like 6'5", and so I look real short. And then we did. Elijah came over, and I was making fun of David Portnoy, and I like David Portnoy. I'm a big fan, but he had all those photos that went viral where he's on his tippy toes, And so when Elijah was like, we get a photo, I was like, yeah, let me do the Dave Portnoy as a joke. But he actually posted the photo. And then liberals don't know what, like, they don't get the joke. So they're like, look at Tim Pool trying to make himself look taller. He's so short. So then when Elijah came back, he was like, don't worry, I'll make it up to you. And then he took his shoes off and put his knees in his shoes.
Still have the pictures on my phone. They came out great.
And then I'm all tall and I'm like, yeah, it was fun.
Liberals have no humor. Like, they don't get anything. They take everything at face value.
Oh, dude, it's
extremely
it's crazy. I go to all these liberal subreddits. It's a treasure trove of information and content. It's how we find our videos, you know?
Yeah.
And just reading these people's comments, it's insane how dumb they are.
I bet.
It's crazy. Like, we talked about on the show where they thought that Anonymous was a real group.
God.
And they're going like, wow, I hope Anonymous doesn't do this, that, or otherwise. And I'm like, oh my God, did they not Google this?
Of course not.
Okay.
But then there's one recently on one of the liberal subreddits where they're like, these maggots, as they call them, maggots,
Of course.
think that there's actually 300-year-olds getting Social Security checks? Are they dumb? People don't live that long. And then it's like, and I'm reading it like, are you kidding? And there's comments where they're like, are they so stupid? Social Security didn't even exist back then. And it's like, holy crap. They're really that dumb. Guys, please, if you see this, the issue is the database is corrupted. Not that Elon thinks there's a 300-year-old man getting a check. Yeah. It's concerns about whether or not they're properly tracking the database, why it's not clean. And then someone said, I bet it's just because it's cost prohibitive to delete someone's name from the database. No, it isn't. You could look, the fact that they work in a mine shaft for government documents, whatever that retirement thing is, where like they bring the folders into
that's nuts.
Was it a limestone cavern or something?
Have you ever covered the underground cheese cave? What? The government owns?
Where they have cheese, yeah.
Government cheese, where government cheese actually comes from. We have a giant cave underground.
Still?
Filled with billions of pounds of cheese.
Billions of pounds.
Still, though.
Hundreds of millions? Billions? It's a lot of pounds of cheese. Still, no, right now.
Wow, I knew it. I thought
cheese.
by now it'd be gone.
We have processed billions of pounds of cheese through this cave.
Well, how stupid they are and dumb they are. I'm so surprised. It's in Missouri, by the way. How they are even close to even winning any elections or winning anything. They're close. Like, they're not far away, and they're so dumb.
It's a limestone mine.
Our word.
It's a USDA limestone mine storage facility for processed cheese products.
Yep.
Yeah, government cheese came from the excess cheese they were giving to welfare recipients. I mean, come on, bro. If you gave me like a big block of Velveeta, I'd be stoked.
I'm so happy.
I'm seeing it home and the government shows up, the postman's like, here's your cheese. I'd be like, this.
I grew up on welfare in a foster household, and we did not get cheese. We did not get fancy things. I got ramen.
We used to get the big block of Velveeta from Aldi. You guys ever have that?
Yeah, there's no cheese in that.
No, I don't know what it is, but it's really good.
It's really good.
And you just cut a slice and you put it between bread, and then you put ketchup on it.
You mix it with Rotel and put it in the microwave, and then you dip chips in it. Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that.
Speaking of welfare, hopefully RFK and Trump makes people you can't buy fatty foods with welfare anymore.
Did you see that hearing?
I did. That's what,
where the American Heart Association was like, we cannot stop them from buying soda and chips. And one of the senators was like, do you understand what you're testifying on? Because I am shocked. And the American Heart Association, and then you look where American Heart Association gets all their funding from. It's Pepsi Cola, and it's like McDonald's, and they're getting paid literally to keep the problem. Like, let's just say, if we solved heart disease, would they still have jobs? I'm just saying. Do you know that the Diabetes Association, they took money from Coca-Cola or Pepsi Cola, I don't remember which one, to stop objecting to having the sodas available in all the hospitals. There was a bill that was being passed to remove soda from the hospitals. And they removed their objections because they took money from Pepsi
I think
Coca-Cola.
RFK Jr. should hold a press conference, rip his shirt off, like, we are banning all of the junk food. No more Taco Bell. No more McDonald's. You will eat salads and steak. And then he starts handing out steaks, filet mignon, medium rare, to the children.
I'm going to that meeting.
To children. Yes. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.